Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome, everyone. I am very happy to be here to speak about Lord Caitanya's pastimes with Lord Shiva, even though I have no qualification or realization whatsoever of the intimate pastimes of Lord Caitanya with his dearmost devotee, who we will see today comes in so many ways to serve his dear Lord Caitanya, just like he does with all the other avatars of Krishna, Vishnu. Really shows that he's the greatest Vaishnava. So we'll do a short Mangala Charana and then we will begin. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Caitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saita Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So last week we heard that in Lord Shiva appeared in so many forms in Sri Vrindavan Dham for the pleasure service of Radha and Krishna, and he appeared mainly as Gopishwar Mahadev, as we know, Gopishwar Mahadev, the protector of the Dham. So in Sri Navadwip Dham, Lord Shiva is still Kshetrapal. He is still the protector of the Dham. This is his eternal service. And here his name is Vridha Shiva. So let us first offer our obeisances and prayers to Vridha Shiva, and then we will hear more about how Vridha Shiva serves Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. It's not loading. O Vridha Shiva, protector of the divine abode of Navadwip, be merciful unto me, and let the holy Dham be revealed to me. O residents of Navadwip, devotees of Sri Caitanya, kindly place your lotus feet upon my sinful head. Please hear this prayer of mine, that I may quickly attain the shelter of Sri Caitanya's lotus feet. So, Lord Shiva, actually, surprisingly, he appears in 110 purports from the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and 71 verses. So there's definitely a lot of lila between Lord Chaitanya and Lord Shiva. So Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita of Sanatan Goswami, he describes that the Viraja river is the border between the material world and the spiritual world, and it is also known as the causal ocean. So on the banks of the Viraja River, there are abodes of Lord Shiva. So on the material side of the Viraja River is Mount Kailash. And on the spiritual side of the Viraja River, Lord Shiva resides in his eternal form, original form, as Sadashiva, who is actually an expansion of Mahavishnu, and thus he is in the category of Vishnu Tattva. But when we go where the demigod Shiva resides, which is on the Kailash, the Brahma Samhita says that just as milk is transforming into yogurt, so Lord Shiva, the Vishnu expansion, he crosses the Viraja river and he transforms into the demigod Shiva. So there's a difference between Sadashiva, who is eternal, as we saw last week. His planet is of Sadashiva Loka, is in the spiritual world, at the border of the spiritual world, and is not destroyed. So Advaita Acharya is that Sadashiva, and thus he is an expansion of Lord Vishnu. So he is Bhakta Avatar. He is an avatar of Lord Vishnu, but he appears as a devotee. So Srimad Bhagavatam 4.6.39, during the advent of Lord Caitanya, Sadashiva appeared as Advaita Prabhu, and Advaita Prabhu's chief concern was to elevate the fallen conditioned souls to the platform of devotional service to Krishna. Since people were engaged in useless occupations which would continue their material existence, Lord Shiva, in the form of Advaita Acharya, appealed to the Supreme Lord to appear as Lord Caitanya to deliver these illusioned souls. Actually, Lord Caitanya appeared on the request of Lord Advaita. Similarly, Lord Shiva has a sampradaya, the Rudra sampradaya. He is always thinking about the deliverance of the fallen souls, as exhibited by Lord Advaita Prabhu. So last week we saw how in Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Shiva is described as the spiritual master of the whole world. So we can see his compassionate nature and caring nature for all of us and everyone in all the 14 worlds, in all the three worlds, the low planetary systems, the middle planetary system, and the higher planetary systems. He is always very compassionate, and he always guides everyone. And if we saw that if we pray to him in the right mood, he actually has the ability to give pure love of Godhead, Krishna Prema. So, because he also desires only to be the servant of Lord Krishna. Sadashiva always says, I am the servant of Lord Krishna. And Sri Ishan Thakur, who was a very close associate of Lord Caitanya, he actually lived in Lord Chaitanya's house when Lord Caitanya took sannyas. He knew Lord Caitanya since he was very young. He wrote a book called Sri Advaita Prakash. And in that book, he describes that Advaita Acharya is the combined form of Mahavishnu and Sadashiva, two personalities in one, as we will see later. But when Sri Advaita Acharya had compassion for the fallen conditioned souls, and he was praying, as we see, to his Shaligram Shila, actually it's described he was roaring the names of the Lord to please descend, to please bestow his causeless mercy upon us. So that part of Advaita Acharya, who was calling for Krishna to come, for Lord Caitanya to come as for Krishna to come as Lord Caitanya, that part of Advaita Acharya is Sadashiva. So we can remember that Lord Caitanya came by the calling of Sadashiva in his form of Advaita Acharya. And every day we sing in our temples, consciously or unconsciously, we sing Shiva Sukha Narada Preme Gada Gada Bhakati Vinoda Deke Gaura Sampada. Lord Shiva, Sukadev Goswami, and Narad Muni are all there, and their voices are choked with the ecstasy of transcendental love. Thus, Bhaktivinod envisions the glory of Lord Sri Chaitanya. This is Gaura Arti, and you can see in this painting how Lord Shiva is here attending the Arti of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Last week we ended the class by speaking from Sri Urdhvamanya Tantra, and it's as we said, the most confidential Tantra of Lord Shiva, most confidential Shastra that Lord Shiva spoke. And the Radha Kripa Kataksha is in it. And after the Radha Kripa Kataksha is actually a glorification of Navadwip Dham and the pastimes of Lord Caitanya. They are very, very long and extensive. So I selected a few verses of glorification that Lord Shiva speaks to Parvati about Sri Navadvip Dham and Lord Caitanya. Sri Shiva declares to Sri Parvati, the Vedas glorify Navadvip as completely spiritual, beyond matter, the topmost eternal abode, and an all-beautiful lotus flower. The 9 islands of Navadvip are like the parts of that lotus. All holy places on earth and in the planetary systems are present in Navadvip. Overwhelmed with longing for pure love of Krishna, all residents in Navadvip constantly perform Sankirtan, sing Gaura, Gaura. For devotees who live in Navadvip, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu is their only Lord in life and after life. Navadvip has the form of a great lotus. Antardwip is the well, and the other islands are its petals. In the center is Mayapur, the supreme seat where Lord Gaura resides in his 5 features, Panchatattva. No place equals to Navadvip. No master is as merciful as Lord Gauranga, and no attainment equals pure love for Krishna. Worship in Navadvip is the greatest success of life, especially for Vaishnavas. He continues, O Devi, there are no restrictions of place, time, giver, or recipient in honoring Gaura Prasad. By eating this Prasad fully, devotion for Gaura is born, and overeating is not against religious principles. And in the Sri Caitanya Mangala, there's a very sweet pastime of how Lord Shiva once became mad with ecstasy after honoring a tiny morsel of Krishna Prasad, which he had received from Narad Muni. His feelings were so ecstatic that after honoring that prasad, he began singing very loudly and dancing in ecstasy. And the dance became more and more vigorous, that it took the shape of the Tandava, the Lord Shiva's dance that is usually performed at the time of annihilation. So, as the world started shaking from his ecstatic dance, the helpless demigods approached Mother Parvati, requesting to console her husband. We can understand how dear Krishna is to Lord Shiva and how he teaches us actually how to honor Krishna Prasad and Gaura Prasad. So today we will be reading and telling pastimes mainly from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Navadwip Dham Mahatmya, and it is a book where it's a narration of Lord Nityananda personally taking Srila Jiva Goswami on Navadvip Mandal Parikrama to each of the 9 islands. So, at the beginning of Navadvip Dham Mahatmya, he offers prayers to Navadvip Dham. And so the prayers, 2 of these prayers are: in one of its regions, Rudra, lost in divine love, gently dances with his associates, enlivened by the sound of damrus. Oh, how he continuously sings about Vishwambar in this place! I bow here to Navadwip, the abode of supreme joy. An abundance of holy places, surrounded by water, shine eternally throughout this land. Attended by Shiva, Brahma, and all the other gods, these places destroy all sins and are worshipable to all the sages. I bow here to Navadwip, the abode of supreme joy. So let us pray to Vridha Shiva, who is the eternal protector of this holy Dham, and with him protecting Sri Navadvip Dham is his consort Prodamaya. And Prodamaya is Yogamaya, and she protects the Dham by veiling its transcendental features and not allowing the non-devotees to enter this holy abode. Even if some non-believers enter this transcendental place, they are not able to experience the glories of the Dham. So just like in Sri Vrindavan Dham, our Goswamis recommended us to, before entering Sri Vrindavan Dham, we should go to Mathura to pray to Bhuteshwar Mahadev. So our Goswamis have also recommended that before entering Sri Navadvip Dham, we should go to Barakona Ghat, where this ghat was constructed by Vishwakarma on Krishna's order. And at this ghat there are 5 Shiva temples with 5 Shiva lingas. Unfortunately, I could not get pictures. I think pictures are not allowed there. But let us please pray to these 5 very special Kshetrapals who can grant us entrance into Sri Navadvip Dham. And we can mentally in our consciousness take bath in the Ganga here, because whoever takes bath here is relieved of all miseries. So east of this ghat is the land known as Antardwip. So now we will do a small Navadvip Mandal Parikrama mentally, preparing for Lord Caitanya's appearance next week. So we will hear about some of his sweet pastimes. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes that each of these 9 islands correspond to one of the 9 limbs of devotional service. So there's Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, and Atmanivedanam. So usually we start parikrama from Antardwip, which is Atmanivedanam, and we will go around Navadwip and we will come back to Antardwip. So we will start by visiting the Yoga Pit. It is believed that a Shiva Linga was found in this area, which is now being worshipped at the birth site of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, which is called Yoga Pit. This Shiva Linga is called Vridha Shiva, or Kshetrapal, the protector of the holy Dham. One should worship the merciful Lord Shiva to obtain the blessings of devotional service to the Supreme Lord. During the time of Lord Caitanya, a temple of Vridha Shiva existed at this place, but was later covered by Ganga. This is where Prodamaya eternally resides. There are 2 Shiva Lingas. The one on the left is Gopishwara Shiva, and the one on the right is Kshetrapal Shiva, who is the guardian of the Dham. So let us offer our obeisances to Gopishwar and Kshetrapal Shiva. And we'll now go to Simantadwip and hear the sweet pastimes that have happened there. So once, during Satya Yuga, Lord Shiva was chanting the name of Gauranga, Gaura, Gaura, and he was dancing in great ecstasy. And Parvati, seeing him, asked him, "Who is this golden lord? Please tell me." And seeing your wonderful dancing and hearing the name Gauranga, my heart is melting. I have understood all the mantras and all the tantras, but they are simply bringing misery to my soul. So please tell me about this Lord Gauranga, who you're so joyfully dancing and serving him. I will attain a new life. So, sorry. Why is it not moving? Okay. Hearing Parvati's words and remembering Lord Gauranga, Lord Shiva spoke to Parvati. You are the primordial energy and an expansion of Sri Radha. I will tell you the crown jewel of truths. This time during Kali Yuga, Krishna will take the heart of Radha and appear in Mayapur, in the womb of Sachi Devi. Maddened by pastimes of kirtan, Lord Gauranga will distribute the jewel of divine love without judging the recipients. O goddess, shame on the life, enjoyment, and fortune of the souls who do not float in the waters of this flood of divine love of Krishna Prema. Remembering the promises of the Lord, I float in divine love. My heart has lost its composure, and thus I have left Kashi. I will stay in a hut on the bank of the Ganga in Mayapur, and I will worship Gauranga. Hearing Shiva's words, beautiful Parvati quickly came to Simantadwip. And she constantly meditated on the form of Lord Caitanya. And after a lot of meditation, Lord Caitanya finally bestowed his mercy on her. And he came and appeared to Parvati. His form was so beautiful, molten gold, and Parvati immediately bowed down at his lotus feet and said, "O Master, O life and soul of the universe, you are merciful to everyone, but you are cruel to me. O Savior of the fallen, you have engaged me in imprisoning the souls who are averse to you." Parvati Devi's service to Krishna is to manage the material world, but she's telling Lord Caitanya that people say that where Maya is, where she is, Krishna is always absent. So she's telling, my dear Lord Gaurasundar, why are you depriving me of your mercy and your association? And she begged for Lord Caitanya, for her mercy to be engaged in her pastimes. Lord Simantini Devi massaged the lotus feet of Lord Caitanya, and she took the dust of his lotus feet and she applied it on her head as sindura, and her sindura is called Simanta. Thus she is Simantini Devi, and this island is actually named Simantadwip after Simantini Devi. So Lord Caitanya, being so pleased with her loving prayers, he told her that you are not separate from me. You are my energy and the goddess of all. My God, my consort, you have two forms. As my personal energy, you are Srimati Radhika, and as my external energy, Radha expands as you. Without you, my pastimes are not complete. As Yogamaya, you are certainly involved in my pastimes in Vraja. You are eternally present as Purnamasi, and in Navadwip, you are present as prauda Maya, with Lord Shiva, the guardian of the Dham. Saying this, Sri Gauranga disappeared, and Parvati's heart became overwhelmed with divine love. Out of love for Gauranga, Parvati remains here as the goddess of Simantadwip, and in Mayapur as Prodamaya. So Simantadwip is also described as a combined form of Shiva and Parvati, and they remain here always in Simantadwip, meditating on the beautiful form of Lord Caitanya and always chanting his holy names in ecstasy. So this deity that you see in the picture is Simantini Devi and Lord Caitanya. This is in our ISKCON Rajpur temple, Jagannath temple in Rajpur. A very beautiful deity of Simantini Devi and Lord Caitanya. And in the ISKCON Rajpur, there's also a self-manifest deity of Lord Shiva inside a banyan tree. And he is a very, very special deity. When they found Jagannath and they got the land, Lord Shiva was there. And there are many pastimes of this specific Lord Shiva with the ISKCON devotees, which we don't have time to tell, but this Lord Shiva is very, very merciful, and we offer him our obeisances and prayers, and the limb of devotional service of that Simantadwip represents is Shravanam, and we can see how Lord Shiva instructed Parvati Devi, and she heard those instructions, and by hearing the instructions of Lord Shiva, how to worship Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu actually appeared to her. So we pray to Lord Shiva that we may hear his pastimes and with Lord Caitanya and of course Radha and Krishna, and be one day, or maybe many lifetimes, but we can also get the darshan of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So now we will go to the next island of Godrumadwip, and the limb for Godrumadwip is Kirtan. And so it's said that many thousands and hundred thousands of years ago, Lord Shiva and all the demigods, so the demigods headed by Lord Shiva, they came to Godrumadwip to do kirtan of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and also chanting the names of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And they were dancing in so much ecstasy and with so much love and affection that Vishnu himself got attracted, and he personally came to the assembly of Kirtan. And there, Vishnu was so pleased that he also danced in ecstasy while his devotees sang his names. That is the goal of Kirtan. So it's said that Mahavishnu and Lord Shiva both danced together in so much ecstasy that their form became one, and one but separate. So this place is known as Harihara Kshetra. So you can see this deity that is there. It manifests from this pastime. So the right side is Lord Vishnu, you can see with his Sudarshan chakra, and the left side is Lord Shiva with the Trishula, and you can see the serpent. So, this is a pastime of union between master and servant through service, and Lord Vishnu also took this form to show just how dear and how elevated a Vaishnav as Lord Shiva is to him, that they reside together always. So this is a very, very special place called Kshetrapal. No, sorry, Harihar Kshetra. And let's have darshan of Lord Harihar. Now we will go on parikrama to Madhyadwip, and we will see how Lord Shiva teaches us smaranam. So it said that Lord Shiva was sitting in his abode, and he heard that Srila Sutta Goswami in Naimisharanya, which is near Madhyadwip, he is not speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, he is speaking Gaura Bhagavatam. He is speaking the pastimes of Lord Caitanya to the sages. And Lord Shiva became so eager to hear that he wanted to go, but when he started to ride his bull, his vahana, Nandi was taking too long because he's a bull. He can't go that fast. So Lord Shiva asked Lord Brahma, please, can you please lend me your vahana? So Brahma gave his vahana, which is a swan, to Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva traveled on a swan to come and hear Gaura Bhagavatam from Srila Sutta Goswami. And there is a deity at Madhyadwip called Hamsa Vahana Shiva. So in this temple, there's a magnificent deity of Lord Shiva who is postured sitting on the swan carrier of Brahma. The word Hamsa means swan and Vahana means carrier. The deity is extremely old, and no one knows how old it is. And it's a very beautiful deity. Water is poured in order to cool down the deity as it gets very heated up by himself. It's said that the deity gets heated up as Lord Shiva is in this mood, is very, very eager and anxious to hear and relish Chaitanya Katha, pastimes of Lord Caitanya in the assembly of sages. So this is a picture, the best picture I could find, of, you can see Lord Shiva reclined there on the back of Hamsa Vahana, traveling to go and sit here and remember the pastimes of Lord Caitanya. So may we pray to Lord Shiva that we also have develop eagerness to hear and remember the pastimes, the nectarian pastimes of Lord Caitanya. Now we will go to Rudradwip. And Rudradwip is accepted as the island of Lord Shiva because the place is connected with many of his pastimes. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, this island is none other than Kailash, the eternal abode of Lord Shiva. In the forests of Navadwip, just the tiny part of its effulgence gives light to all the three worlds. So there's something also that I forgot to say, I'm sorry, that in Godrumadwip, where Harihar Kshetra is, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes the narration that Lord Nityananda is telling Srila Jiva Goswami that this Harihar Kshetra is known as Mahavaranasi because Lord Shiva made a promise that whoever will leave their body in this Harihar Kshetra, he will personally be at their ear chanting Gaura, Gaura, and very easily give them Gaura Prema. So no one in Kshetrapal, no one in Godrumadwip can have any fear of death because Lord Shiva promised that he will be there chanting the names of Lord Gauranga. And therefore, Lord Nityananda says, this is Maha Varanasi. So now let us hear about Rudradwip. So, addressing Lord Shiva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, please make the general populace averse to me by imagining your own interpretation of the Vedas. Also, cover me in such a way that people will take more interest in advancing material civilization just to propagate a population bereft of spiritual knowledge. This is from the Padma Purana. So, Lord Shiva informed Goddess Durga, the superintendent of the material world, in the age of Kali, I take form of a Brahmana, and I explain the Vedas through false scriptures in an atheistic or Buddhist way. And he appeared in the form of none other than Adi Shankaracharya. So Adi Shankaracharya, he's actually a great Vaishnav, of course, because he's an incarnation of Lord Shiva, but only externally was he acting as a servant of Maya. Internally, he was very much relishing love for Krishna. He was a very highly empowered manifestation of Shiva, and according to the order of the Lord, Shiva performs his duty as Shankaracharya. So when Shankaracharya came to Navadwip, he came to Rudradwip to preach with his disciples, Mayavadi disciples, and Lord Caitanya appeared to Adi Shankaracharya in his dream and told him that you are my servant and you are following my order and you are very cleverly preaching illusionism. Navadvip Dham is very dear to me, and illusionism will never have a place here. Here, Vridha Shiva and Prauda Maya propagate imaginary interpretations of the scriptures. They deceive. However, they deceive only those who oppose my devotees. In generally, it's my devotees who reside here. This place is not for preaching misconception. Therefore, you should go elsewhere. Do not trouble the residents of Navadwip. Understanding the position of Navadwip through this dream, Shankaracharya went elsewhere, inspired with devotion. So this Adi Shankaracharya, we should always remember that he is a devotee of Lord Caitanya, of Krishna. And we will hear how in Rudradwip, the 11 Rudras reside here eternally, and they chant the glories of Lord Caitanya. And Sri Nila Lohita Shiva, the leader of the Nila Lohita Rudras, they always dance here with great joy. Seeing the dancing of the Rudras in Rudradwip, Navadwip, the gods in the sky joyfully shower flowers upon them. So, we hear in Srimad Bhagavatam about the 11 Rudras, but in the Vaishnav Khanda of the Skanda Purana, it's also described that Hanuman is a direct manifestation of Lord Shiva. He is an incarnation of Rudra. So we can just see that we know very well that Hanuman is the dearmost servant, dearmost devotee of Lord Ram. And Hanuman is none other than Lord Shiva. So we can see that Lord Shiva, he descends with all the incarnations of Krishna, Vishnu, to serve them in all their forms. So when Ram comes, he comes as Hanuman, and even when Lord Caitanya comes, he comes as Sri Advaita Acharya. And in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, in all the books describing Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, there are unlimited pastimes of how dear Advaita Acharya is to Lord Caitanya. So Lord Shiva exhibits perfectly that he is the greatest Vaishnav. He is definitely Vaishnavanam Yatha. So now we are going. Oh, sorry. Rudradwip is also got its name because um what's his name? Vishnu Swami. He came to Rudradwip with his disciples and he stayed the night, and his disciples and him were all chanting the names of Krishna. And seeing this devotional atmosphere, Sri Nilalolita Shiva, Rudra, he became so pleased and mercifully revealed himself. When Vishnu Swami saw that Lord Shiva had appeared in their Vaishnava assembly, he was astonished. Immediately he folded his palms and offered prayers to Lord Shiva. Moved with compassion, Shiva spoke to him. All you Vaishnavas are very dear to me, and my heart is delighted to see your discussion of devotion. Ask for a boon, and I will kindly grant it. There is nothing that I withhold from the Vaishnavas. Filled with divine love, Vishnu Swami bowed down and requested, O Lord, please grant us the boon that we may establish a school of devotion. With great joy, Rudra granted this boon and declared that this school would bear his name, Sri Rudra Sampradaya, and he danced and sang in happiness. By Shiva's mercy, Vishnu Swami remained in Rudradwip and worshipped Lord Caitanya, aspiring for divine love. Later, Lord Caitanya appeared to him in a dream and said, My devotee Shiva has blessed you. You are fortunate to have attained the wealth of devotion in Navadwip by his mercy. From now on, preach pure non-dualism and prema bhakti. So we can see again how Lord Shiva can give us love of Godhead if we pray to him with much love and devotion. Now we will hear how Lord Shiva answered prayers, because now we are going to Jahnudwip, where the limb of bhakti is Vandanam. And we can see here how Lord Shiva is very compassionate and very merciful to all of us. So, King Bhagirath, he had to deliver 60,000 of his ancestors who were suffering in Patalaloka. And he had to, the only way that they could be relieved and get liberation was by pouring their ashes in the Ganga. But there was no Ganga at that time on earth. And so Sage Bhagirath, he went to pray to Ganga Devi, and Ganga Devi said, I can come, but I have two concerns. My force of my waves are too strong. If I descend on the earth planets will be destroyed. So Lord Shiva, very mercifully, he was approached, and he said, I will take Ganga on my head. I will take the forceful waves of Ganga Devi. And Ganga Devi came to the earth through Lord Shiva's head and came through the Himalayas, the Gangotri. And so Ganga Devi was flowing, and when she reached Navadwip Dam at Jahnudwip, Janu, Sage Janu was praying there, and he was doing tapas. And he had his Achman cup. But when the forceful waves of Ganga came, she washed away his Achman cup with her forceful waves, and becoming so angry that he was disturbed, Janu how do you say, drank her, all the Ganga in one sip. He swallowed her, and becoming very distressed, because Sage Bhagirath waited for so long for Ganga Devi to come, and Ganga Devi came and now got swallowed by Janu. So Sage Janu, after Sage Bhagirath begged, he released Ganga Devi through his ear, and that's how Ganga Devi got the name Janavi, because she is also known as the daughter of Sage Janu. And we can be very grateful that um, Ganga Devi managed to come to bless us all on this earth planet by the merciful nature, compassionate nature of Lord Shiva, who always holds Ganga on his head. The greatness of Mother Ganga always brilliantly exists. She is the most fortunate because she emanates from the lotus feet of Sri Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. She is the second goddess of fortune, and therefore she is always worshipped both by demigods and by humanity. Endowed with all wonderful qualities, she flourishes on the head of Lord Shiva. So we will visit one last island to conclude our small Navadwip Mandal Parikrama. We will go to Koladwip. And in Koladwip, we will visit Buro Shiva. So earlier we heard that temporarily Navadwip will be covered by Ganga Devi. And we heard that Vridha Shiva would move. So Vridha Shiva moved to Koladwip. And his wife Prodamaya, they are the eternal protectors of Navadvip. And before, yeah. So this is darshan of Vridha Shiva and Prodamaya in Bura Shiva. So here Kali, the wife of Shambhu and the destroyer of demons, she sincerely protects the devotees of the Lord out of affection for them. Lost in divine love, she eternally worships Gaura in ecstasy. I bow here to Navadvip, the abode of supreme joy. Hare Krishna. Now we will hear two short pastimes of Lord Caitanya that happened outside Navadvip with Lord Shiva. So we will travel all the way to South India in Sri Shaila, a very, very auspicious place where Lord Shiva and his wife Durga, they disguised in the dress of brahmanas, just so that they could have the association of Lord Caitanya. And when they saw Lord Caitanya, they became very pleased, and they gave alms to Lord Caitanya and invited him to spend 3 days in a solitary place. Sitting there together, they talked very confidentially. Sri Caitanya Charitamrita 9167. So this is a very sweet painting, ISKCON painting of Lord Caitanya giving his blessings in association to Lord Shiva and Parvati Devi. And we can see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya showed very much the culture of offering obeisances and prayers to Lord Shiva. Like in this verse, the Lord visited a place known as Go Samaja, where he saw Lord Shiva's temple. He then arrived at Vedavana, where he saw another deity of Lord Shiva and offered him prayers. So now we will hear a very special pastime of how the prayers that Lord Caitanya offered to Lord Shiva. So now we will travel to Bhuvaneshwara. And so sorry. Um so I can't remember. I thought I wrote the name, but it's not here. In order to teach everyone that Lord Shiva is very dear to Lord Krishna, Lord Caitanya danced in front of Lord Shiva. He was now practically demonstrating all the instructions of Lord Krishna, as they are found in the Puranas and other Vedic scriptures. Clapping his hands, Lord Caitanya danced and sang, Shiva Rama Govinda. The Lord then offered worship to Lord Shiva with all his devotees. The Supreme Lord is the supreme instructing spiritual master. One who does not follow his instructions suffers due to this grievous mistake. So the Lord took his disciples and visited Bhuvaneshwara, and there it said he was very happy to see this particular Shivalinga, who unfortunately I cannot remember his name. But there Lord Chaitanya danced in ecstasy and he chanted the Maha Mantra, and all of a sudden he started singing these 8 verses glorifying Lord Shiva, called the Shivastakam. And this song, Shivastakam, is recorded in the diary of an associate of Lord Caitanya called Sri Murari Gupta. Sri Murari Gupta is an incarnation of Hanuman. And just as we learned who is Hanuman, Hanuman is an incarnation of Lord Shiva. So it's very sweet pastime how Lord Caitanya sang these prayers of glorification, this astakam, glorifying his devotee Lord Shiva. So I guess we have a few minutes we can sing. Namo namaste tridasa savarya bhutadinathaya mridhaya nityam Ganga tarango thita balachandra chudaya gauri nayanotsavaya Sutaptachami karachandra nila padma pravalam bhudakanti vastre Sunritya Ragestavara Pradhaya Kaivalyanathaya Vrishadvajaya Sudham Shusuryaki Vilochanena Tamo Bhidete Jagata Shivaya Sahasra Subhamshu Sahasra Rashmi Sahasra Sanjit Varate Jasestu Nagesharatno Jvala Vigrahaya Sardula Charmam Shukadivya Tejase Sahasrapatro Parisamas Titaya Varan Gadhamukta Bhujadvayaya Sunu Puraranjita Pada Padma Sharat Sudhabritya Sukha Pradhaya Vichitra Ratnauga Vibhushitaya Premanamevadhyaharo Videhi Shri Rama Govinda Mukunda Saure Shri Krishna Narayana Vasudeva Ityadi Namamritapanamata Bringadipaya Kila Dukahantre Shri Naradadya Satatam Sughopya Jigyasitaya Shuvara Pradhaya Tebhyo Harir Bhakti Sukha Pradhaya Shivaya Sarva Guruve Namaha Shri Gauri Netrotsava Mangalaya Tat Prana Nathaya Rasa Pradhaya Sadha Samukanta Govinda Lila Gana Pravinaya Namastu Tubhyam Etat Shivastakam Adbhutamahat Shinvan Hari Prema Labheta Sigram Gyanacha Vijnanam Apurva Vaibhavam Yo Bhava Purna Paramam Samadram. A person who lovingly hears with rapt attention this wonderful eightfold prayer to Lord Shiva can quickly gain Sri Hari Prema, as well as transcendental knowledge, the realization of that knowledge and unprecedented devotional potency. So you can all save this bhajan. It is also on our ISKCON desire tree and also in the Back to Godhead. It is a bhajan. It's nice to sing it on Shivaratri, and the translation is also very beautiful, so that we can properly understand Shiva Tattva as explained by our very own Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So it was very relishable for me to research and learn so much about Lord Caitanya's relationship with Lord Shiva as the greatest Vaishnav. I feel very fortunate for you all to give me the opportunity, even though I am not qualified to speak the glories of such an elevated Vaishnav. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
It was amazing.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, she transported us. I mean, I never did Gaur Mandal Parikrama, but at least by her mercy, I was able to do something.
We did Godrumadwip Parikrama staying in our place.
Yeah.
We didn't have to pay a ticket,
Yeah,
traveling, and just before Gaur Punim, just before
exactly. Yeah.
it's like
As it
preparing us.
happens, just like it happens there. Before Gaur Purnima, there's Parikrama.
Wow, thank you so much, Shri Radha Kripa
Yeah.
Kataksha. Very, very wonderful to hear about the pastimes, to go on each dweep, and very detailed, what each dweep, the Shravana Kirtanam, and everything. It was just a complete parikrama explanation, understanding according to our Vaishnava philosophy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Anybody else would like to say anything?
Yeah, I was just thinking about how Lord Shiva